Benoni is a dynamic city lying on the East Rand of Gauteng. Not only is it a busy metropolis of some 500,000 people, it is a pretty playground where old and young can indulge their fantasies. The city fathers of Benoni are renowned for their forward thinking. The City Council of Benoni has done pioneering work in South Africa by being the first municipality to contract out their firefighting and special rescue services. By adopting this exceptionally flexible and innovative way of rendering their firefighting, special rescue and paramedic ambulance service, they have saved their ratepayers millions of rand and greatly improved the efficiency and quality of these services. Because the emergency services are now contracted out, the technology used is state-of-the-art, as seen in the new control center.
Since the implementation of our control center in Benoni, we have not only improved the working conditions for our control room operators, but have also drastically reduced our response times of emergency personnel actually arriving at the address of the incident. We have thus increased the level of service provided to the residents, and we are on par with anything worldwide.
Emergency communication desk speaking today. The
automatic number identification system identifies the number and address of the caller even before the operator has answered the call. The Emergency Control Center has the capability of tracking all vehicles via satellite. No other service in the country reaches that of the Benoni Emergency Services in terms of the standard of the paramedical staff and the service they can deliver.
There's no pulse, eh?
At the advanced level, the paramedic staff can do drug administration, defibrillation, seen here, intubation, and other invasive life-saving procedures, including chest drains. This service is comparable to the highest paramedic service in the United States.
You have joined the Benoni Fire and Emergency Services, which is the best fire and emergency services in South Africa. You'll be doing a 6-month training program. This 6 months, you'll be taught a lot of things. On completion of this program, you will all be qualified firefighters.
The Benoni Fire and Emergency Service has done pioneering work in terms of being an affirmative action employer. So much so that they take unemployed people, supernumerary to their organization, train them, teach them new skills, and assist them to find employment with other emergency services. Personnel skills are continually being upgraded. On the firefighting side, Benoni will be the first service to be part of an internationally recognized and accredited training program accepted in 50 countries worldwide. Training encompasses all the dangers a firefighter might face. Death by smoke inhalation or asphyxiation is a constant threat to fire services personnel. Realistic training in specially built obstacle rooms prepares trainee firefighters for hazards they will encounter in the future. Training is tough, but so is the work the firefighter must do. Rigorous rescue exercises prepare them for the task that lies ahead. Abseiling from a 10-story tower familiarizes trainees with conditions they will soon face in the field. This specialist training equips them with sophisticated skills that will one day save lives. Dealing with dangerous and volatile chemical fires is one of the extreme situations that Benoni Fire and Emergency Services personnel are trained to handle.
You pump, and in the meantime you put your stethoscope.
Service to the community is Benoni Fire and Emergency Services credo. Training programs are given to schools, women's groups, factory workers, pre-primary toddlers, and so on, to better equip ordinary men and women to cope with emergencies.
Protects our hands.
As a contracted-out organization, Benoni Fire and Emergency Services are contractually obliged to maintain certain standards. These standards are already way above the standards laid down in terms of vehicles required and the training provided. Because we are constantly striving to improve the standard of service provided, Benoni Fire and Emergency Services have set in place new guidelines to achieve service excellence.
Your legs straight, eh? Let's cut the Ekurhuleni.
On the ambulance side, the intermediate and advanced training undergone by paramedics is accredited by the South African Dental and Medical Council.
1, 2, 3.
At that level, Benoni ratepayers have protection from all 3 stations 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Give 2 full breaths again.
The work done by Benoni Fire and Emergency Services and their professional execution of it has attracted worldwide media interest. Scenes similar to this one have been picked up by national and international media and broadcast worldwide. Because Benoni Emergency Services are contracted out, we are able to enter into joint ventures such as Rescue Medics, which provides highly sophisticated ambulances for the specialist task of inter-hospital transfers. This assists us to provide a full range of services. The impetus for the Benoni City Council to contract out its emergency services was to cut costs and to provide a better standard of service. This was done in a number of ways. Firstly, the sale of assets such as vehicles and equipment. These need no longer be maintained by the City Council. Secondly, we now contract out for a cost of service which is substantially lower than what it was previously costing the City Council. Thirdly, Benoni City Council now receive rentals on the buildings they own. Fourthly, they earn income by receiving dividends from the contracted out company in which the council is a shareholder. Lastly, there is a cost saving on the administration of the emergency services. By contracting out the emergency services, Benoni City Council has saved the ratepayers 16.5 million rand over a 5-year period.
We believe that should fire and ambulance services in South Africa be contracted out to the private sector, it would be possible to achieve a financial saving in excess of 1 billion rand over a 5-year period. If this financial saving were ploughed into the reconstruction and development program, it would benefit all of South Africa's citizens. Further, it would be possible for every South African citizen to receive exactly the same level of service with regard to paramedical and ambulance services.
Benoni Fire and Emergency provides a wide range of services all geared to serving the community.
This is my son, Alan, Joburg Jen's miracle child. He drowned when he was 4 years old and declared dead. It took Benoni Fire and Emergency Services 45 minutes to bring him back to life, and as you can see, he's as healthy as can be.
The contracted out organization is totally equipped to deal with any of the hazards posed by our modern industrial society. Neutralizing toxic chemical spills that threaten our environment and our lives is routinely dealt with by our service. The safety of Benoni Fire and Emergency Services personnel is of paramount importance, and every precaution is taken to ensure the welfare of a valuable and well-trained resource. Although the work is dangerous and demanding, the reward is often the simple thank you given by a grateful citizen.
On the morning of the 27th of February 1991, in my office I had a pulmonary embolism. I was actually dead, and the Benoni Fire and Emergency Services responded very quickly, and I was airlifted to Johannesburg intensive care. And I must thank them and the Almighty for their alertness and the professionalism. I can't say enough about the Blabbards, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been here today.
It doesn't matter what emergency Benoni Fire and Emergency Services is called out to. The intensive training and high standards required pay off when they are needed most. Even in the most inhospitable terrain, paramedical personnel function efficiently, regardless of difficult surroundings.
Yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! 1, 2, 3, yeah! That's it, guys.
The Benoni Fire and Emergency Services fire and ambulance stations are strategically located to give a sub-5-minute response time. Our service does about 30,000 incidents a year, of which 1,500 are fire, about 7,000 paramedic, and 25,000 ambulance related. Countless lives have been saved by Benoni Fire and Emergency Services. In peak times, we handle more than 140 incidents a day. The standards to which our service operate are unequaled in this country. By contracting out its emergency services, Benoni City Council not only saves its ratepayers millions of rand, they actually raise the standard of service provided. We at Benoni Fire and Emergency are committed to providing our community with outstanding emergency services. Services that compare with the best anywhere in the world.